We're chatting the top grow questions that we received on our grow support line this year, and we're going to be discussing them in depth. And I've got Andy here to assist me with some comments on these grow questions. What makes our business unique is that we run a full-time grow support line. You know, guys can come in basically and send pictures and assist us in sort of, you know, keeping along with their journey. It's not just about the sort of the start for us. It's always about keeping up to date and learning, but it's super busy.
Yeah. I'm like quite keen to hear some of these details. I must say it's you have handled a lot more of the technical and sophisticated questions, and I think the market has trended that way. It's not the easiest questions on the support line anymore. It used to be like, you know, the very basic stuff. Now it's like, whoa.
Yeah, luckily it's not just me. We've got Luke, who also works basically full time on it. So, you know, there's two of us tending to it now. But, you know, there's always those basics which come through. I'd say the main one is basically how to get started. You know, a lot of people have absolutely no idea what to purchase on the, you know, to what to get. And
are you finding those are more frequent? Like, are there a lot of new people starting, or is it? Are they? I suppose they do they're quite consuming because it's quite a lot to share, like a lot of information to share, or is there just like a sheer vast number of new growers coming into the space?
I think I think a lot of the time a newbie is going to want to ask questions more. Someone who knows will know what to look for. So I think that's why, you know, we're running grow support a lot of the time. There are it does trend to those sorts of questions. But over time, I've definitely seen the questionnaering evolve. You know, it used to be very, very basic. Now there's still a lot of that basic stuff coming through, but it's sometimes the starting point is a lot further than maybe what it was a couple of years ago. But there's always one massive trend, and that's with you know, germination of seeds. It's a tricky task. I've chatted about it before. You know, I think it's one of the more difficult parts of the grow because, you know, it's over-watering or over-attention can definitely affect the germination of your seeds. But guys getting started are definitely wanting to know. A lot of the sort of the newbiest question, I suppose, is related to germination and the complexes thereof. And you know, sometimes it's just unlucky. Other times you're super lucky. But generally, if you know what you're doing, then you can definitely get a grip on it and have good results in the future. I'm happy if I get 90% generally. You know, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, and we're always good to go.
Unfortunately, dealing with biology there, so
it's a living organism. Yeah. When I plant my tomato seeds from stodels, I don't expect to get 100% germination.
Yeah, no, never,
so, like,
never.
I don't understand how it can be the same with you know, cannabis seeds. Secondly, I'd say it's you know, when to do things and what to give at those points are sort of always go hand in hand. Like, when do I start? What season? If they're growing outdoors, you know, and then when do I start giving nutrients? Like, everyone seems to want to ask that, and a lot of the time you have to kind of be like, you know, you got to just hold off a little bit and and let things happen. Don't, as soon as you see your plant, start blasting it with like water left, right, and center, and starting to, you know, feed it loads of nutrients. And you know, it does tend to happen quite a bit of the time that there's this mega excitement related to sort of getting started and wanting to feed nutrients. I suppose people want to mix something up. It's a bit boring to just mix plain old water.
They think they're like the plants are like humans that need, you know, a double quarter pounder, you know, every day to survive. Whereas plants like literally need like a fraction of a teaspoon of minerals to basically keep going and operating. And I think you just get hyped up like, shit, I'm drinking all this food and drinks and water. It's like my plants only had like a tablespoon of this, like, you know, chemical, but yeah, it's highly concentrated. So anyway, what's the sort of 30-second answer to what do I feed? Do you just put them towards following a feeding schedule or something like that?
Generally, I'd say less is more. Let's ease it in for at least the 4 weeks, especially if you're using like a craft super soil, you know, which a lot of newbie growers are using. Not a lot of newer people who are sort of questioning in these early stages go hydroponic. A lot of people will go like an organic approach. So you basically don't need to feed anything for, you know, up to 4 weeks. And then secondarily, whatever nutrients they have, we always tell them to give about a quarter to start off with. and then maybe half the dose recommended, and then to ease everything in. Once you're more experienced and you've grown that exact same genetic 20, 30 times, you know exactly that you can push it to, 4 times the dose at a specific stage. But if you're still learning, you're going to get amazing results by just letting the plant do its thing and assisting here and there and following sort of the next main question, which is, the IPM program. How do I keep pests at bay? How do I stop
diseases? Do people ask about the program, or do they just come oh, a few weeks later they're like, what's this? And it's like absolutely
100%.
It's absolutely massacred the entire grow tent.
So it's not really a question of, the nutrient question comes up straight up, when do I give nutrients?
That's
but
like day
when
one
do I
stuff,
spray for pests and when do I spray for molds? That doesn't come up. It comes up with an image, boom, and it's this leaf and it's dotted and it's yellow and you're like, ooh, we've got a problem here, and we always advise to look into IPM. If we someone's asking what kinds of things do I look at, we'll say, okay, these are the nutrients, this is the IPM program, this will work. But a lot of people will go, nah, and then they just go ahead and they purchase this, they'll procure the things that, the basics. So then they'll come back for support at a later stage and realize, oh, wait, I actually did need to be spraying because, they're unable to, I should have been spraying. I should have been looking out for these things, because when you have an untrained eye, you also don't know what to look out for. So the early stage of infestation, you're not going to catch. You're only going to catch it in a later stage. By that point, now you're trying to cure when you could have followed the prevention, and the cure always ends up more expensive than the prevention,
and risky. A lot of them are quite hazardous. It's maybe stronger chemicals, stronger this and that. But I completely agree. It's something we've kind of all fall victim to, is this anomaly that you think that pests aren't going to grow inside of your house or live inside of your house because you're like, oh, it's a house, it's sterile. Nah, those buggers will come in and you next thing, it's not even just one pest. You got gnats, you got fungus gnats, you got
multiple,
you got everything, spider mites, and it's just
brood aphids.
It's just like, how did all of these things get inside the bedroom or the cupboard or the garage or wherever? So I fully agree with that. Take our advice now, guys. IPM.
The classic is we always say the classic joke on the support line is always that we like weed just as much as the bugs. It's super smelly, it's nice and leafy, it's easy to get onto, it attracts, So it really is something that can detriment a lot of hard work. Everything could be going fine, and then all of a sudden you've got an infestation, and you could have avoided that. And then an exciting next point, our fourth most asked question of the year was definitely related to LED technology and automations. So we've seen some really cool lights coming out this year in the mid-range, and on the top end, which has been super exciting. With example, the Lumi Black being so new, a lot of guys have been questioning the results. What kind of results can you get? And then on sort of the automation side, also the same thing. Like, I want to up to the next level, I want to use the best tech, and LED has definitely got to a point in 2022 where it's definitely, it's a couple years ago, it was sort of still behind, and now it's at a point where I really think it's outperforming, and most people want to get into it. And with the LED comes also the sort of ease of automation. So the kind of techie side of things has definitely been around, sort of pushing for higher quality. People aren't really looking as much. They don't come in now as much, and they're like, they think that the light's not important. There seems to be a consensus now that the light is the main thing. So let's build everything around that and around making it easier for me to concentrate on the things that matter. So, the Trollmaster, the Nanolux, sort of air cons, dehumidifiers, backup systems. On the higher end, we've kind of been having a lot of those kinds of conversations, because people don't want to invest and then it's not secure, and they don't have the correct components in order to maintain what they're trying to achieve. So when consulting, we often will sort of break down the end goal for a client, reverse it back, and then work it through.
I must say it's nice to see the evolution into that space, and like LEDs. I mean, us personally, we've learned so much about the LEDs, And they are getting, like, I mean, they are more complicated and more complex, and the things you can do with them are a lot cooler. But yeah, it's quite interesting to see. I wanted to slip in that there's probably a 4.5 question on that, but we're not going to discuss it too much because we do have another episode about this. But I suspect there's quite a few load shedding related questions coming through. So if you guys are having issues with that, do check out our video that we did the other day, and basically we address some of those things that may help you in that situation. But yeah, anyway, so what's the fifth one you got on the cards?
So our fifth one has definitely been related to post-processing. There's been a massive trend into extracts in the sort of the home grow space. A lot of guys really want to smoke the dank extract, which maybe we also create a lot of content related to it and talk about it quite a lot. So maybe that's why we sort of tend to have a lot of those conversations. But I've definitely seen a trend in the market towards people wanting to definitely learn how to up their curing game, up their drying game, and a lot of the time it's the end goal of getting a decent amount of good flour and a decent amount of good extract. So the extract has been, I mean, we've been doing rosin, kind of rosin related content for a long time, and that's definitely super trendy. I think a lot of people are also sort of offering pressing these days. So it's definitely become more available. And then on the extract side, we've been seeing some sort of the more solvent based extractions. We've been seeing a lot of sort of very cool innovations in that space as well, and I'm seeing more and more people starting to, in the past, people would be very scared of extract. Whoa, dab, I would never smoke that. They've all got that story. They got too high at one time. So now it's not so much like that. Maybe there's new people who have sort of become of age that are been sort of watching all those YouTubers smoke those dank dabs. I don't really know, or it's but it's super exciting for me, because as everyone knows, we also love extract. So we're definitely having interesting conversations. Guys are definitely making really, really good stuff. We're seeing people look at packaging. How can I package correctly so that it's not going to oxidize, so that it's going to be stored correctly? Where do I store it? How do I get the best color? A lot of those kinds of questions are those kinds of conversations are becoming more common. And we definitely, from the conversations that we've been having and images we've been seeing, there's a lot of crazy stuff that guys are making. So don't think that we're behind on the extract game. I think we're definitely seeing safe quality product coming to market that's been tested. Guys are caring about all of those sorts of things. There's been a big cartridge push as well. You're seeing all the CBD carts coming out. So yeah, it's very, very exciting on the extraction side of things. And I think going into 2023, it's definitely, as we've said in our previous some of our previous episodes, we think it's going to continue to become more and more popular, because it is, it's less plant material, easier on the move, more discreet. So it kind of fits 100%. A lot of people's lifestyle these days, where everyone's always on top of us.
Well, as you guys can see, we basically with you guys from the beginning to the end. Even with this channel, we've basically tried to give as much knowledge and put it out there as we can. So if you've made it all the way to the end, we really, really, really appreciate you. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Make sure to comment if you have any questions, and you can also WhatsApp us from the link below, and we'll maybe try to answer all of your questions. But till next time, peace, guys.
Peace, guys.